In 1987, a 23-year-old man got out of bed in the middle of the night. He walked to his car. He drove 14 miles through the city. He arrived at his in-laws' house. He went inside. When he came to, he was standing in their kitchen. His hands were covered in blood. His mother-in-law was dead. His father-in-law was badly hurt. He drove himself to the nearest police station and said, "I think I just killed someone." The man's name was Kenneth Parks, and his defense in court was one of the strangest ever recorded. He said he was asleep the entire time. He had no memory of getting out of bed, no memory of driving, no memory of anything that happened inside the house. Doctors examined him. Sleep specialists tested him. Brain scans showed that his pattern of sleep activity was abnormal, and the jury believed him. Kenneth Parks was found not guilty. The court ruled that he had been sleepwalking, and a person who is genuinely unconscious cannot form the intent to commit a crime. A man drove 14 miles and killed someone, and the law said it was not his fault. That is how powerful sleepwalking can be, and most people have no idea what it actually is. Let's start with the basics. Sleepwalking is exactly what it sounds like. A person gets up and moves around while they are still asleep. Their eyes may be open, they may walk, they may talk, they may do complex things like open doors, go up and down stairs, or even cook food. But their brain is not awake. This is the part that confuses people. A sleepwalker can look like they are functioning, they can navigate a room, they can avoid furniture, they can respond to simple questions, though their answers are usually mumbled and make no sense. But the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, memory, and awareness is shut off. The lights are on, but nobody is home. Sleepwalking happens during a stage of sleep called deep sleep or slow-wave sleep. This is the heaviest, most restorative stage. Your body is supposed to be paralyzed during certain phases of sleep to stop you from acting out your dreams. In sleepwalkers, that system fails. The body wakes up, the mind does not, and the result is a person caught between two worlds, not fully asleep, not fully awake, somewhere in between, moving through the real world with an unconscious brain. Most sleepwalking episodes are harmless. A person gets up, wanders the hallway, maybe opens the fridge, and goes back to bed. They wake up the next morning with no memory of any of it. But sometimes it goes further. People have been found sleepwalking outside in the middle of winter wearing nothing but underwear. Some have climbed out of windows, some have walked into traffic. A few have been found miles from their homes with no idea how they got there. One woman was caught on camera walking to her car, starting the engine, and driving several blocks before being pulled over by police. She was completely asleep. Another man regularly cooked full meals while sleepwalking. His family would come downstairs in the morning to find pots on the stove, food on the counter, and no memory from him of making any of it. Children sleepwalk far more often than adults. It usually starts between the ages of 4 and 8, and most kids grow out of it by their teenage years. For adults who still sleepwalk, the episodes tend to be less frequent, but sometimes more intense. So what causes it? The honest answer is that science does not fully understand it. But several triggers have been identified. Sleep deprivation is the biggest one. The less you sleep, the more your brain craves deep sleep. And the deeper you go, the more likely the waking system misfires. Stress and anxiety are another trigger. A mind under pressure does not shut down cleanly. It gets stuck in between states. Alcohol and certain medications can also cause it. Anything that disrupts the normal sleep cycle can increase the risk. Genetics play a role too. If one of your parents was a sleepwalker, you are significantly more likely to be one yourself. If both of your parents sleepwalked, your chances go up even more. Whatever is responsible for that broken switch between body and brain, it runs in families. Fever can trigger it, especially in children. A sick child with a high temperature is far more likely to sleepwalk than a healthy one. And in rare cases, other sleep disorders like sleep apnea can set it off. When your breathing is interrupted during sleep, your brain partially wakes up and sometimes the body follows. Now here is the question everyone asks. Should you wake a sleepwalker? You've probably heard that waking a sleepwalker is dangerous. that it could give them a heart attack, that it could cause brain damage, that they might become violent. Most of that is a myth. Waking a sleepwalker will not hurt them physically, it will not cause a heart attack or brain damage, but it can cause intense confusion, fear, and disorientation. Remember, their conscious brain has been off. Snapping it back on suddenly is like being teleported into the middle of a situation you have no context for. Some sleepwalkers do become startled and lash out when woken abruptly, not because they are violent, but because they are terrified and have no idea where they are. The safest thing to do is not to wake them. Gently guide them back to bed. Speak softly, move slowly. Most of the time they will follow your lead and lie back down without ever waking up. Now let's talk about the darker side. Throughout history, sleepwalking has been used as a legal defense in criminal cases, and the Kenneth Parks case was not the only one. In 2009, a man in England was acquitted of a violent crime after experts testified that he had been sleepwalking at the time. His brain scans showed patterns consistent with a known sleep disorder. The legal question is fascinating and disturbing at the same time. If a person is genuinely unconscious, they cannot form intent, and without intent, most legal systems cannot convict. The body did the act, but the mind was not there. This raises a question that no one has fully answered. Where does responsibility begin if your own body can act without your permission? And that brings us to the strangest part of all. Scientists still do not fully understand why sleepwalking exists. It does not seem to serve any purpose. It is not useful. It is not protective. It is, as far as anyone can tell, a glitch. A failure in the system that is supposed to keep your body still while your brain recharges. Your brain has a switch, sleep or awake, on or off, and in some people that switch gets stuck halfway. The body moves, the mind stays dark, and whatever happens in between, you will not remember a thing. So tonight, when you go to sleep, your brain will flip that switch, your body will shut down, your muscles will go still, and you will have to trust that the switch works. Because if it doesn't, you might wake up somewhere you do not recognize, with no memory of how you got there. And that is the real horror of sleepwalking. It is not what you do in your sleep, it is finding out what you did when you wake up.